How you doing? Jim Pettinato here from Colony, New York. Father of two, a 2-year-old and a 9-month-old. Been married 6 years. I grew up in Colony, a Catholic. I was an altar boy, went to church every week. And things were pretty good for me growing up. I really learned from that, having a sense and a general belief in God and praying to God in a time of trouble. But it wasn't much of a deep relationship as I got older. I started, running with my friends, chasing after girls, drinking, eventually getting into drugs a little bit, smoking pot. And throughout high school it got a little more intense. And really all the time I was looking to fill a void, which I always felt something was missing out there, which I didn't have. By the time senior year came around of high school, I really was in full-blown rebellion, skipping classes, drinking, doing whatever I wanted pretty much, and really just had my sight set on college next year and being able to live it up in a new, bigger, better environment. And that's basically what I did. My first year at college, I was just partying. I dated a girl the first semester for most of it. And as the semester came to a close, things were getting pretty dark in my life, just with what I was filling it up with. And that relationship went bad, and I found out my parents actually were splitting up, and that a lot of stuff happened during their marriage, which I never knew about. It really felt like a rug was pulled out from me, and my heart, which was already pretty dark, grew a lot darker in that second semester. I really kind of went nuts, more or less. Even got into selling weed a little bit. But meanwhile, I really was in thought, and for some reason I was just thinking about God a lot, and some readings in a course that I took at college really got me thinking about God and about Jesus and deeper things, spiritual things. That summer, after my freshman year of college, I ran into a friend of mine. He actually called me up, and last I talked to this friend was senior year of high school, last I knew, he was tripping on acid, was apparently possessed, called the police on himself, told them to cuff him before he bugged out and tried to go after them, and hadn't heard from him. Well, he called me up, we started hanging out, and it was night and day. Something happened to this guy. I don't know if I've ever seen somebody change more in my life, and I knew something was different. And what he said was, he bugged out, he went to a mental institution, and doctor said he'd have a chemical imbalance the rest of his life, and all he knew was he was supposed to go to church. So he went to church and ended up going to a conference and got so dramatically changed. And he told me he accepted Jesus in his life. Well, I'm like, oh wow, that's all good. I've got God. I thought I had Jesus, being a Catholic growing up. But in retrospect, I really did. And I still had my feet in the partying world, but I would hang out with my friend. He would talk to me a bit about things, and he really got me thinking. And one day he told me, he's like, Jim, you're on the fence, you're straddling the fence. On one side is the life with God, walking with God, and the other side is the life of sin. And at that point I realized that wow, I really was full of sin, and I need to make a decision who I'm gonna live for. One day, with a bunch of guys from his church in someone's house, they're all together praying. I said a quiet prayer to myself. I accepted Jesus in my heart, and I felt this tangible presence, which I never felt before, come over me. And I knew something was different. It was an emotion. It was the Holy Spirit. I got born again before I even set my foot in a Sunday church service. By the time I did, I listened to the pastor. Everything he said, something in me just jumped out and confirmed like everything he was saying. So I knew the truth already. Nobody indoctrinated me. God filled me up with life, and I'm so thankful for it. After that, the void, which I was looking to fill my whole life through partying, through girls, through looking for a relationship, it was filled. I knew I found what I was looking for, and my life would never be the same again.